or volunteer today. Together, let's transform our educational landscape. EDTF, building futures and putting smiles on faces.
Hello, good day, and welcome to Sports Clinic on Nigeria Live TV. My name is Appah, and of course, I'll not be doing it alone. I have my pundit with me, Glad Yak here. Good to have you, Glad.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to be here. And let's start from the home front. Let's start from athletics, where the Bayelsa State Athletics Association holds one day under 15 secondary schools meet, plus a 3-day high jump hurdles coaching clinic. So the dates for all this will happen on Monday, the 23rd of March, 2026, and the time is 8 a.m. prompt. You ask about the venue, and you can come to the Samson Siasia Sports Complex, where all this will happen. So for the chairman of the Bayelsa State Athletics Association, Kola Oredipe, is doing a very good job. Glad, because before now, let me start from I think I was in Asaba for the youth games, where for Bayelsa they were dominant on the track. Like we talk about the likes of Perfect Fire, Samson doing very well. But apart from the track itself, in terms of javelin, discus, shot puts, long jump, and the likes of them, their shortcomings, because I doubt we even had athletes competing very well in this other events. Maybe you might see some being there just for the sake of maybe participation, but talk about chances of winning a medal, I didn't really see any apart from the track. So it's good that at least they're trying to catch them very young, going to the secondary schools to make sure that they gather these students, come outside, and let's see what you have.
Well, Abi, when you want to improve, you have to first of all identify your weaknesses. And for Bayelsa, we know our stronghold is just talk about swimming, you talk about wrestling. That's where we are really dominant. And we talk about long jump and relays and all that. We are not really so good in that aspect. So I think they've identified that, and they want to strengthen. They want to at least be able to improve on that aspect, so when they go out into the national stage again, they will be able to compete. And then for the youngsters, I think it's a big opportunity, because honestly, I'm jealous. When I was in secondary school, we didn't have this kind of opportunity. So it's a platform for them to be able to go out and show themselves, and for the governments, they are trying to nurture these talents, catch them young, essentially. So very good development from the state.
Yeah, very good development from the state, I must say, because it's not about connection. It's not about you must know someone, you must have a connect. So before, you must know the CEO, you must know this one before your school you can participate. It's not about that. Provided you feel that you're good enough, you're under 15. Please, if you're 31 or so, not before you, just avoid that place. Don't even go there and embarrass yourself. But if you know that you're under 15 and you know you have this talent, that's a platform that they are trying to create for you. Come and show yourself. Come and compete with other people, and let's see how far you can go. But let's leave athletics, but still talking about sports in Bayelsa. But this time around, let's talk about the Prosperity Cup, the Bayelsa State Governors Cup, the 9th edition that's going on. Let's not forget that the winners will be going home with 30 million naira. Yeah, 30 million naira. And sometimes I want to ask, Abi, why are you here talking sports? Why don't you just go to the field and play and be part of this 30 million naira? But come on now, if I'm not here, who will be here? So I just have to be here. But let's talk about some results of some matches that were played. And we saw at the Merigin Center, starting from there, Lebele FC losing 2-4. That is 4-2 to Igaholo United. We saw FUO Kings defeating Oruma FC by 4-3. Quite entertaining there. At the Kolo Center, we saw Abage FC losing 3-0 to Movers FC. They were swept and moved aside. While FC losing 3-1 to Chief Street FC. At the Tuabage Center, it was Aperetia FC 2, Aberene FC 1. Bicotech losing 2-0 to Rachi FC. At the Sega Center, it was ROCCG Joyful 1, Emea 1. 1. I don't know, Emea 1. There's 1 in their name, and this was 1-1. But the match went into penalties, and Emea 1 advancing 8-7 on penalties there. Then we also saw Metros FC playing out a 1-1 draw against Kolo Creek United. But Kolo Creek United advancing 7-6 on penalties. At the Otokboti Center, we'll see two matches that have not been played. We'll see two matches where Diamond FC will take on Okodi FC. And the other match would be Ediwan FC versus Umels Junior FC. So those are the matches.
Well, the games are coming in really fast this time around at the Ogbia Center for FU Kings. I think they had the most emphatic win in the center, and then we'll soon be heading. I think a lot of fans will be excited about the games coming to Yenagoa, because that's where things are really going to heat up. But so far, I think the biggest shock we've seen in the Prosperity Cup is that what with City Boys and FC losing, but so far it's going as expected.
Yeah, as expected. I know those of you in Yenagoa, those coaches and players, you guys are waiting that what's happening. When will it get to Yenagoa? But don't worry, your time will come, because I'm all started in Brass and Nembe local government area. Now we're in Ogbia local government, and before you know, it will be the turn of Yenagoa and other local governments. So don't worry, all of us will play this Prosperity Cup. You see this 30 million naira? Come on, we all fight for it, including me that is in the studio. More, at least remember me in your kingdom when you win this money. But guys, let's leave that and talk about a controversial decision. This one is very controversial. It's one that most people are not really happy about it. That is CAF. What happened last night? While some people were sleeping, some people were enjoying, some people were seeing Champions League matches, CAF were busy cooking something. Initially I saw it on a very big platform that is BBC. I saw it, and for once I doubted BBC. Maybe they are making a mistake. Like, this cannot be real. So I tried to look at other outlets, and I confirmed it that CAF has stripped Senegal of their AFCON title, the 2025 AFCON title, and has given it to Morocco. That reason being that because of the protest and the fact that Senegal, they left the pitch for 15 minutes or more. So because of that, they are taking it away from that. But glad, why leave it for so long? After 2 months, that is when you're coming out to say this. Was it that difficult to investigate, or why did it take so long?
Honestly, I've even forgotten that they even played the AFCON recently, because it's been a long time. And 2 months is a really long time to overturn that kind of decision. Because for the Senegalese, they've already been awarded their medals. They've gone home with trophy, and then you're coming up and saying Morocco actually won, and it is really ridiculous. I think it's a total disgrace to African football. They are basically turning African football to a public, should I say, to a laughing stock in essence, because we've seen a lot of top players in Europe, and even Jurgen Klopp was also criticizing or downplaying AFCON. So really not good, because the fact that they allowed Senegal to continue the game, they went on, played and executed, and they won, and then only to come out 2 months later and give the result to Morocco is really not good. It seems like for CAF, they're just trying to appease the Moroccans by any means they can at this point, because they want to ensure that maybe they get a little bit of benefit for hosting the AFCONs and all that. And for Morocco, they've also been dragging their feet. They're not really interested in hosting official tournaments. So maybe the CAF are just trying to appease the Moroccans.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Glad. I think there's a little truth in that, because why would it be that after so long, that's when they decided to come out with this verdict. But it's not over, I assure you, it's not over yet, because for the Senegalese Football Federation or Association, they've come out to say that they will appeal it. They will go to CAS. When you talk about more like Supreme Court, but this one is for sports. Yeah, that's the biggest court, so they will appeal it. I feel like they stand a chance, because it's not right to me. It's not right. I feel the way CAF went about it, it's quite a bit disgraceful to African football, rubbing mud on African football. But let's leave Africa and take a flight to Europe, and let's talk about the UEFA Champions League. Start from the matches that were played yesterday. Yeah, it was beautiful for some teams. That is for Sporting CP, defeating Bodo Glimt by 5-0 and advancing 5-3 on aggregate. And also for Arsenal, defeating Bayer Leverkusen by 2-1 and advancing 3-1 on aggregate. We saw Chelsea, dismal performance from Chelsea, losing 3-0 and 8-2 on aggregate to the side from Paris Saint-Germain. And the last match saw Real Madrid defeating Manchester City at the Etihad by 2-1 and advancing 5-1 on aggregate.
Well, very exciting games, especially from a neutral perspective. Maybe you want to say for Bad Belle FC, because for Chelsea, a lot of fans were. I know there are a lot of Chelsea fans that were realistic, and they felt like the game was already done in the first leg, because I felt like the mountain was just too high for them to climb, and I expected them to go out in the second leg to at least win, go out fight for even though you're not going to qualify, at least go out put up a strong performance. But it seemed like Paris Saint-Germain, they were just really motivated. For Luis Enrique, he was looking for that sweet revenge after his defeat to Chelsea in the Club World Cup, and he's gotten it, giving them an aggregate of 8-2, one of the biggest aggregates we've seen from a big side. I think Chelsea, this is their heaviest defeat in the Champions League we've seen in a very long time. So very humiliating defeat for Chelsea. And then for Manchester
I'm
City,
sorry to cut in before you leave Chelsea, since you're talking about Paris Saint-Germain. I'm sorry to cut in, but you also want to look at Paris Saint-Germain, and there's a pattern now, because last season, after their playoff match was against a French side, that is Brest. They manhandled Brest, and you could not recognize Brest. Brest Football Club, I mean to say, and not what you're thinking. But they manhandled it. And this time around again, another French team, Monaco, then an English team. Last season, the same pattern. And this season, it's as if the league format, do you fancy it, or you're not a fan of it?
I'm not a big fan of this format, because for teams now, they just know they can play badly in the group stages, and then they just try and qualify through the playoffs, just as Paris Saint-Germain did it last season, and then they will be able to win it eventually. But it's not really good. But for Paris Saint-Germain, I don't think they are still in that kind of form that we saw them last season, irrespective of the fact that they still started the season poor. Talking about last season, and this season they've also not been very convincing. The game they played against Monaco as well. I wasn't really impressed. For Monaco, they let a 2-goal margin slip. In both legs. I think in the League On, they also were leading 2 goals at some point. It seemed like Paris Saint-Germain were going to do that comeback again, but they eventually won that one. But for PSG, they've not been convincing, and maybe when they face the likes of Bayern Munich or maybe Arsenal, that's when I really give them their flowers. Because for Chelsea, they essentially faced a Chelsea side that's basically overachievers, because they performed well at the Club World Cup. Expectations were high.
But also these are the world champions.
Of course, they are the world champions. Like I said, they are overachievers. No one tipped them to win the Club World Cup, and then when they won it, the expectations in this season were very high for Chelsea fans. But they've not really been good this season as well. So if Paris Saint-Germain defeats a team, the proper side, that's when I really give them their flowers.
Okay, and let's dive into the one between Arsenal, the result between Arsenal and Bayer Leverkusen, and also the one between Real Madrid and Manchester City before we talk about the fixtures for today.
For Arsenal and Bayer Leverkusen, it was never really in doubt, because from the beginning I knew Arsenal were going to qualify. I know a lot of people thought Leverkusen played really well in the first leg, but I was like, no, Arsenal and the Emirates is going to be a completely different story. And a lot of fans have been criticizing Arsenal for using set piece and corner kicks throw-ins to score goals, and Arsenal responded emphatically with Eberechi and Declan Rice scoring really great goals. So at least this time they did not win with set pieces, they won fair and square. So you have to give them credit for that, and you really have to take Arsenal seriously. They are real contenders for the Champions League. I know you talk about history and inexperience, and that could play against them, but they are still one of the top teams to win the Champions League, if you ask me, this season. And then for Manchester City against Real Madrid, I really did expect City to at least come out and fight, but Bernardo Silva, I don't know what he was thinking.
Made it very difficult.
He made it really difficult for them. You're playing in a football era where there's VR, so you're using your hand. What are you really thinking? It's better you allow the ball going. And Vinicius,
and the penalty was eventually scored.
He eventually scored, and even if he missed it, it's too big a risk to gamble that. So he made the job a little more complicated. Pep was crying about the fact that he played 10 against 11 for a long time, but the first leg was 11 against 11.
He even played better with 10 than even with 11.
So really no excuse. I feel like if they play that game again, Real Madrid will eventually see beat them. So for Manchester City, it's been a poor season for them as well. For Real Madrid, I've been one of their biggest critics as well, but recently at least they are starting to hit top form, but I'm not really convinced yet.
Okay, let's talk about matches that would be played tonight, and then let's start from the one between Barcelona versus Newcastle United at Camp Nou. Then we'll see Bayern Munich taking on Atalanta. I would also see Liverpool at Anfield take on Galatasaray. Victor Osimhen's Galatasaray, I must add that. And the last match would be Tottenham taking on Atletico Madrid.
Well, AB, yesterday we saw two English teams eliminated, talking about Manchester City and Chelsea FC. But this we are going to see two more teams, at least I'm sure two more English teams will join them.
Yeah.
We'll see Newcastle. Newcastle, they played really well in the first leg at the St. James's Park against Barcelona, but I don't really see them. I expect Barcelona to come out stronger, much stronger in this second leg encounter at the Camp Nou. It wouldn't really be it's exactly how it played out in the first leg. So I don't fancy Newcastle to qualify against Barcelona. I don't even see the game stretching further than 90 minutes. And for Tottenham against Atletico Madrid, for Tottenham Hotspur, I really am not giving them any chance whatsoever to get to get past Atletico Madrid. For Atletico, and they might come in with a more defensive approach, because we saw when they had that 4-0 advantage against FC Barcelona, and then they went to the Nou Camp. They went in with a defensive approach, and Barcelona almost pulled that comeback. So I feel like Atletico will go there to defend. For Tottenham, I don't see them having enough quality to be able to overturn that result. But for Liverpool, this is the only English side that I'm really giving a chance to get to the next round, to join to add to Arsenal again in the quarterfinals. For Liverpool, they've also been, should I say, they've been poor so far this season. Their draw against Tottenham Hotspur was one of it was a really
one of their lows this season.
One of their lows, of course, because if there's any team you're supposed to be guaranteed of getting 3 points from, it should be Tottenham Hotspur. But this game against Galatasaray, a 1-goal advantage for Galatasaray heading to Anfield, and normally you know how the Anfield factor, but it seems like Anfield these days is anybody can just go there and get the result, you know. But there could be that fear, but I still fancy Liverpool to get it done against Galatasaray. For the game between Bayern Munich and Atalanta, I feel like that game was already done and dusted for Bayern. Even though they play without a goalkeeper, I don't see Atalanta staging any comeback.
Okay, I say it pans out, but let's not forget that for Galatasaray, they've beaten Liverpool twice already this season, same scoreline, 1-0 already twice. Let's see if they can do it for a third time, or possibly just get a draw and qualify. Or Liverpool would be like, no, you guys have chewed more than you can bite, beaten more than you can chew, rather. So let's see how things pan out, and that will be the size of our package today. But before we go, thank you very much for being here with me.
So glad to be here.
Okay, glad to be here. But please, I'd always advise that please just do well to at least click and do well to subscribe, to click that like button. And also just know that Niger Live TV is officially open for business. If you're looking to boost your brand through paid adverts or sponsorships, we're ready to partner with you. You can reach us right now via call or WhatsApp on our studio line 081 2934 000 081-2934-000. For physical consultations, visit our head office at number 122 Imbiama Yenagua Road, Amarata, Yenagua, by also state. And don't forget to stay connected. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and X at Niger Live TV, or visit our website at www.nigerlivetv.com. My name is Appah. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Every ripple starts with a single drop. In Bielsa, that drop is the